All right, you want me to kick you off, or you good to go?
I go. Okay.
All right.
Start then.
All right, cool. All right, welcome everyone to the October Tech Day. Today we have Neto not performing, presenting for us. He's going to talk about a little tool called Layout Service Checker. I assume that's a tool, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And yeah, so this is something that is built using JSS, and I don't really know too much more detail, so without further ado, I'll let him get us started.
Okay, thank you. Well, hello everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today sharing this presentation with you guys. And my name is José Neto, as you know. I'm currently a developer at Nishtech Inc. and I've been working with Sitecore in the last 4 years. And before that, I used to work with SharePoint. I was also rewarded with the Sitecore MVP in this year. And I try to help the community to share the knowledge that I have through my blog. I'm also a member of Go Horse Team on Sidecar Hackathon, which is an annual competition. And it was a great competition this year as well. Tired. Well, I'm not talking much about JSS because we already had a lot of explanation about that on the symposium and some other presentations. So I will just do a quick review of that. Okay. So Sitecore JSS, it is a way to develop JavaScript based front ends with a Sitecore backend. Oh, sorry. Have a problem here. Yeah. JSS allows developers to build websites using client-side frameworks like React, Vue, and JSS runs on Sitecore 9. Well, what are the services provided by JSS? We have like GraphQL to query, update, and provide real-time data. We have the dictionary service, which is a REST endpoint for retrieving an app-specified translation dictionary. And also we have the layout service, which is also an REST API. Well, let's talk a little bit on how this works. The Sitecore Layout Service is the REST endpoint which provides data for the Sitecore JSS applications. So, the Layout Service gives you the capability of getting Sitecore items, presentation data in a JSON format with the applied personalizations. Basically, the user or the application will make a call to a REST API endpoint and will return a JSON with a lot of information, like ID, page title, content field, and any other fields that the item may have. Then your application will interpret it and make this useful in some way. This call have some important parameters like the parameters that you see there, like the config parameter in green. The name of the config parameter, you have the name of the layout service that JSS you use in the configuration. It's that JSS in red. Okay, it's the parameter. We also have the item parameter. The path to the item, it's relative to the contact site home item. We also have the SC length. This parameter is the language version of the item that you wish to retrieve. In this case, I don't think I'm using that, but we have this parameter. We also have the SC API key. The API key is the string that you previously configured. It is a Sitecore item with the key, basically. And you also have the tracking parameter. This parameter enables or disables the analytics tracking for the layout service, and the default is true. As you can see on the example, the layout service retrieves you a JSON result. Real result. Well, this is the real example of a return of a JSON. So let's dig a little bit. Check the field item name called home, followed by the text field with a lot of content on it, then the field title Sitecore Experience Platform. We also have the field database name, which contains the web. It also contains the item ID, and there is the item language, in this case is for English. And you can also have the template name over there, and some placeholders. So let's talk about the layout service checker. Now, why I built that? Well, the idea was to validate the content that has been provided by the JSS Layout Service. And for that, a snapshot of a JSON result would give me the ability to compare the results before and after the deployment in a way that would be easy. Well, there are already some tools that already perform a similar operation like that, such as Rezo, Unicorn, and other tools on TDS. But let's compare the approaches. Well, the layout service is a free experiment that will validate the content provided by your JSS layout service and check for the changes against a snapshot of those pages using the JSON return, and it will show the changes for you. In this way, you will know if the content provided by the service is the same or not. All other tools are great, but mainly used to update Sitecore items and compare all the database, which is not exactly the objective here. So the idea here is basically to validate the layout service, okay? So how the tool works? Well, before the deployment, you run the layout service checker to perform the snapshots of the desired pages, and the tool will consume the JSS layout service and save those items in a JSON format locally. In step 2, after the deployment, or after you change a lot of items, the user will run the tool again, and you perform another snapshot of those pages, and then you perform the comparison of the JSON results provided by the JSS and show you the difference.
Can you give us like examples of scenarios where this?
Yeah, I'm curious why there would be a concern that the item structure and item fields and values would change after deployment.
Well, you're providing basically some content for like a React application. We're gonna be there next slide actually. Okay. So yeah. So well, on this slide we can see where the layout service will perform the action. So in the top you have probably a client-side application, like a React application, right, or a mobile application, something that you use the layout service, right? And the layout service checker will be in the middle of that, using the JSS layout service API and check what you're providing to the React application is it the same or not. So basically, if someone changes something on a template or a content or a personalization, it may break something on the React application or the mobile. So imagine that you're a Sitecore partner, and there is another company that is consuming your layout service.
Yeah.
So in this way, you can try to guarantee the quality of what you are providing to them. Without, if someone changes something, that's not the idea. You can detect this change before you tell them before it breaks the application, right? So.
Or maybe the idea was to modify it.
Yeah,
and
or
need to check.
Exactly. And
right.
Yeah, the idea was to modify it, and you know that it was modified and it's supposed to be modified this item, so it's okay then. That's why.
So one case for that would be like if I'm modifying a template that exists in like my not sim, but what's the I'm drawing a blank here, the Sitecore item solution thing. What TDS?
Yes. Yeah, if you change that, you use TDS on your local, and you create a new field, and this is supposed to be delivered by the, and with this direct application we will use that new field, right? So you change it, you create a new field, and you perform this snapshot, so it's okay. And when you deploy this field on Sitecore to the web database, the JSS Layout Service should provide this field and this content for the direct application to use that. In that case, you'll be expecting a change.
Right.
And then you run again, and you're gonna see the JSON, the piece of information that changed. So you see the field name that's being sent to the layout service, and if it's like a personalization, which will also shows you as well. So
Okay.
that's the idea. So on this slide we can see the tool in action. It will show you first. Let's do a quick overview. It will show you the key that's being used to make the call, the URL to the service. So we saw on that slide how it's being called. So this is just to show you how the call is being done, and you can do that you can change on the configuration. So the user will click on that perform baseline check, and this will get the items and save the result. And after the change is applied in the Sitecore, the user will go to the tool again and perform the second check. This check will perform the same action, but to show you the difference in the JSON result from the service between those items, and if there is no change, nothing will be added to that column content difference. So here we have the item which is this sample one. Oops, sorry, sample one. And here on this content difference, you can see the JSON change, right? That was applied. So if you change it, for instance, the title change, you know that it's going to be changed. Well, and the tool have some XML to configure that. So the first thing would be the website root parameter. The second thing would be the directory. It's the directory that will be used to save the snapshot file. Another thing that's very important here, it is a standard JSS key, because, well, it is a service, you need that key, and that's the parameter for the key. And you also have that URL, that's the call will be made, and that tracking I set to false, so it's not going to affect analytics, this kind of thing. And the other parameter there is for another tool that is integrated on that. Well, configuration. Well, in this the layout service, we also have a new field that you probably need to configure. It's the new field is the layout service placeholders. So if you want to expose those things to the service, this is very important to keep that in mind, and then you need to add the placeholder that you want to expose. So it's not just install JSS and it's automatically gonna work. You need those steps, some configurations, and then it will work.
This is only in the layout, or
Yeah, this is just on the layout. It's gonna expose in that case, all things that are on the main placeholder.
What if you select multiple placeholders?
If you have more content on those placeholders, it will expose on the JSON file. Otherwise, it won't.
And will be heavier.
Yeah, that's why probably they did that, because probably if it's a big page and you don't want to expose everything to the service, you can cherry pick what must be exposed or not, right? So you have this field to do that. Well, let's do a quick demonstration, and I have my priest there to pray a little bit for the demo gods. Okay, so let's do it. Well, here we have the layout service checker empty with just one thing there, which is this sample one, and I will perform the baseline check. It's too slow.
It's good, so it takes more time.
Yeah, well, it's there. Yeah, data saved. So
Okay.
yeah, it's there. And now let's perform some change on the experience in editor.
What did you just do before that?
I click it here to save the current JSON file that the layout service is providing. So it's saved. So
Where did you save that?
why? No.
Where?
Where?
In the-
There is a path on the configuration file that it saves there. There's
As a file.
Or is
as a file, not inside core. It's
is the file system?
in the file system, yes, on XAML file. And here I will change something on the personalization, so I just hide this thing and save it again.
Very hard done.
Yeah. And then I will publish to the web database. Yeah. And I run the second check with, so I made the first step, which was the current JSON file, saved that information. I made a change in experience in editor, so this should reflect on the JSON file, right? So I'll click perform second check. And there you go, it saves the new one, and it's gonna show you the difference between those two. So in that case, you know that something changed, right? So you are expecting that change. So it
Nice.
it showed you.
Not
So-
bad.
So it's showing only the change item, or like in the JSON.
So
Well,
Can you
it's
actually increase the size of the?
Sure.
It shows the difference for each item that changes, correct?
Yeah. Well, we have in this current we have just one set core item that's being provided, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the first one, we saved the current JSON that it was saved there. We made a change on the personalization,
Mm-hmm.
and we click it again, so it made the comparison. In that case, this was probably removed from one to another. It was not added because
Okay.
this was hidden, right? You said to hide that. So I believe that this was removed from the JSON file.
Okay.
In that case, I'm not going to open those two, but you have the difference, which is the idea. You know that.
Okay.
Can you modify something else, like a page title, like we're doing?
Yeah, we can. Oh, because
Yeah, I think we need to refresh that before
Yeah.
save.
exactly. Second. Well, in that case, we have two versions. I will click here on the second check again, so it's gonna compare my first version to my third version.
Mm.
So we have more things that change it. So you have that then the title that you changed, right? New page title, it's here, and also
And this is
Oh, it's
this is
showing.
before?
Yeah.
no, yeah, this is what you changed. It's the
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
but
the
I mean,
change.
this was the previous value.
Sample
and this
one.
new one.
It's the difference. Sample one, it's the page name actually. So
Before.
yeah, well,
looks like it's an array of two different values.
Yeah, yeah. And the second, this was the hiding thing, right?
So is it like, this is not side by side?
Line by line? No, it's gonna.
Side by
It's two XMLs, right? He get the difference between two XMLs and showed you. It's kind of side by side, but not line by line.
Okay,
It's a
so
kind of XML comparison, like
in JSON.
yeah, JSON comparison.
So, but it's not, it's just only showing that part of the JSON
That
which
changed.
is actually changed.
Exactly, I'm not showing the entire JSON.
And-
The
but
JSON is
it
bigger than
not-
that.
But it is not also showing what was there before. Is it showing what was there before?
No.
No, it was the change. Yeah, it
Okay.
will not show you. It was like this, and it changed it to that. Just the difference. So
Just the things that are different
Yeah.
on these two comparisons.
exactly.
What are you actually used to find that difference?
What I did to do that, a JSON comparison library with compares.
Okay.
Uh,
So
It's gonna-
difference between two.
yeah, it's gonna basically load two JSON
Mhm.
files and do a diff on that.
Different.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. So,
Very cool.
I just press F5.
yeah. So yeah, well, it seems that our priest made a difference here in the presentation.
That's right.
So always remember to pray for the demo gods, and well, I'm glad that they listened to my prayers and helped. Well, this is actually part of one thing called deployment toolkit. It was a tool that have that maintenance mode first. It was another tool, and the content checker, this layout service checker, actually is a proof of concept that I included in this tool. So it has more things, and I will talk a little bit about this maintenance mode tool that has in this tool as well. So the maintenance mode is an application that enables you to block all the users that are not admins from accessing site core. This can be used when you are performing a deployment. And why should I use that? Well, you may have like 100 content editors, and you want to make them kind of locked and away from the system, and you need to protect the content during the deployment. So with that, you can basically block all the content authors from accessing CMS during your deployment. It's going to seal let the admin users to log in on CMS, because you probably is an admin and you have more admins that are perform the deployment. And this tool is basically for that.
If the author is already logged in and you turn on the maintenance mode, will he be ejected?
Well, I'm not sure if it's gonna be ejected, because when the user logs, there's kind of cookie that Sitecore puts in his browser and expires, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. This would be the time. Let's try to revalidate that, and when we try to revalidate that, Sitecore will get that he's blocked. It's not going to kick him automatically, but Sitecore will detect that thing changed, and he's going to be expelled from the system. So here I have just I'll not do a demo, but I have just a picture of how it works. Basically, you have a list of users that are content authors, and when you click lock, it's gonna lock, and when you click unlock, it's gonna lock. So before the deployment, you would hit lock, it's gonna change and block those content editors.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And after deployment, you click again, so they can go back to the system. So thank you very much. for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And have more information on my blog, which you can find day-by-day issues faced by Sitecore developers, marketers, and content authors. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Questions and comments, guys?